Alright, good evening YouTube. Welcome to the kingdom. Tonight we have a special episode on the eve of Throne Wars, where we will be going over some Titan builds for a Lawrence Wick, a frequent commenter on my channel and a loyal subscriber. So if you guys like what you hear here, feel free to leave in the comments additional Titans you want me to go over theoretical builds with. I'll give you my opinion on the Titan, as well as an end result on what you should be building for him. Alright. Good evening, Zalan. It's good to have you in here, man. Okay, so this is one I've been putting off for a while, not because I necessarily wanted to, but because we all have real life to think about. So, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and go over to everyone's official database, or everyone's favorite database. Let's go here. Yoon, it's good to see you, man. Alright. Let's bring this bad boy up. Now, one of these days, I'm going to do pre-made videos, but, you know, I think it takes away from the ghetto feel of me doing all this by hand for all of you to see. Okay, so we got a Siegfried that we're going to look at here. Now, I am a huge fan of Siegfrieds, and people think that just because you have a Siegfried, it is going to be worth leveling. Today we are going to find out if that is actually the case. Now, to give you some baseline based upon my previous Titan builds video, we're not going to really have to worry about too many garrisons tomorrow, Yoon. It's really going to be about the lands, and I know everyone is excited. Okay, so let me verify that I got the right skills here. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, you guys are going to be absolutely shocked by these skills. And not in a good way. Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was archers. Let's do it in the right order, just so I can make sure that we cover this the way it should be covered. Okay. We've got spearman damage, that's right. Oh, let's go to archer's health. And finally, spearman armor. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about these skills is the ideal skill set. This is as far away from it as you could possibly get, except for one skill. But we're going to see exactly how far you could take these spearmen and these archers to see if it's going to be worth your time and your effort. So, to help facilitate this, we're just going to go over, we're going to start with the archer build. Alright. And then, actually, before we do archer build, let's get everyone's favorite, our 5-star relic in there. Because we're going to build this out as though we want this Siggy to be the best possible. Alright, now with that said, let's go over to archers. And go to relic 2. Everyone loves the Bow of Kings. Relic 3. Relic 4. Let's make sure that we can get this right. Alright. Oh, I do not want that in there. Alright. And I don't want that iron ball, so bear with me a moment. And then we come to our 6th relic. Let me see what I had exactly built out here. Oh yeah, we need the 3-star Gilded Arc. Oh. Okay, so when you build out archers completely on this Lawrence, I want you to remember what we talked about for being able to have archers that are prepared and ready for battle. Let's say you level this Siggy all the way up to level 60. And then you get all of the right relics, everything leveled up to its max. Your archers are going to have an impressive 93,000 health. They're going to have 110% armor. Basically, this is going to be exact opposite of what archers are looking at doing. Because while your damage is going to be somewhat decent at 26,000, your armor piercing is going to be 118%. And when we talked about it before, if you plan on taking out the X skill titans, you're going to need a minimum of 150% and possibly more, as you're going to see as we build out the spearmen here in a moment. Now, we're looking at these numbers here. Let's compare them if we had different archer skills. So I'm going to take this archer armor, and we're going to do archer damage, go from archer health to archer armor piercing. You'll see your health is cut in half, but your damage doubles, and your armor piercing goes to 228%. This is a build that would absolutely destroy any defenses. If you have half that armor piercing, your archers aren't going to get through anything before they die. So you're definitely not going to look at building this Siggy with archers in mind. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and say that you really wanted to salvage Siggy for some reason. And you go Spearman level 25. We are going to build out a Spearman build according to the best that we can possibly get. And let's go ahead and take this archers. Ron Gamer, good to have you in here, man. Alright. So for the Spearmen, we are going to be a little generous and go Spearmen resist against physical, since physical damage is what we're looking for. Actually, it doesn't matter. We're going to say it's physical, but we're going to concentrate on the 1X skill and maxing it as far as we possibly can get. So, I'm going to go down, get ourselves a few kite shields. Get this 4-star helmet, where it's going to give us some more armor and resist against ice. Alright, we're going to get this shocking gem here, in case you have that, because it gives us spearman armor and health. And then we are going to go ahead and get our amazing little spearman armor right here. And then followed by one more armor. We're going to go with the shield, just so we can maximize on armor. So, taking this spearman build into this, your spearmen are going to have a health of 191,000 health and 280% armor. Against those archers that were maxed out, your armor build here would literally be able to block 60% of the damage coming through, because you have 60% more armor than those archers had armor piercing. Now, while that may seem like a lot, they do 50,000 per shot. And so 60% of 50,000, you're still taking, quite a bit of damage. We're talking about maybe 30,000 damage. And even though you have 200,000 health, you've got 10 archery units shooting at you, that's still one shot if all of them shoot at you at the same time. Now, they're going to have to shoot a lot to do it, but spearmen are going to be actually easily kiteable. Yeah. And so, while that's the ideal defense against you, if anyone else is attacking you, they're going to have a lot to go through. Now, the problem with this particular spearman build is that spearman damage right there. Because while you do have 20,000 damage, watch what happens if I take out that spearman damage and go ahead and switch it over for the spearman health. You go from, you lose 20,000, go down to 6,000, but your health almost doubles here. And, 319,000 health is something. So, even without that health boost, the armor build is something that is viable for these spearmen. That's only if you have this full build. Because remember, you're just looking at slowing them down as spearmen. These things are incredibly sticky. And with the advent of the lightning troops, this just gets a little bit better too. Because those lightning troops don't do well against spearmen in and of themselves. So if you had to have Siggy, one, I would recommend that you keep one of each unique Titan. But if you had to have this Titan and you had to level them up, the only viable option in the current meta is to load up on armor. Get those spearmen ready, because 280% armor is nothing to shrug off. And you could actually get more armor if you drop the Earthshaker here and threw in something else. But I tend to think that Earthshaker is just the best thing, since it gives you 24% resist against all melee, as well as 40% troop health. That's worth the 30% armor drop, in my opinion. Yeah, but even if you don't have that shocking gem, you have the 3-star versions of these items that you can drop in there as well. So, Siggy, even a 1 armor, X armor Siggy, you can find a use for. But know that this won't be a garrison defender in any way, shape, or form. He will just be an annoying land defender, and I think you could do better than this guy. I really do. But if you had to level him, do it like this. Okay, so we've looked at Siggy. Now we are going to look at another one that he asked me to look at. Where is he? Where is this guy? Probably should be up at the seas. This will be everyone's most recently favorite Titan. I've seen too many spearmen just get slaughtered. You may be right. You may be thinking differently than I am. With the right relics, you can make anything really work. So, here we're going to go with Calvarax. Now, you do not ever look at leveling Calvarax for his spearman or for his Imperial buff. That is the opposite of everything that you need to do with Calvarax. So, in all of our builds here, let me make sure I got the right build form. We are looking at Imperial's armor piercing. That's true, that's critical. There we go. Alright, and then we got resist against physical. And finally, more skeleton critical. We are going the distance here. Alright, now this next thing is something that I would recommend putting in. Well, if you have all 6 relics, other people would disagree with this. But I would recommend, if you have the Stormbringer, it'll be worth it bringing in for this particular thing, just because it's nice to have Calvarax actually do some damage. Alright, but looking at the relics, it's going to be really easy to build out which relics you're going to be using. All you need to do is come down to Skeleton. And if you have these relics, this is how you're going to build it. Now, because of because you are stacked to the brim with critical already, I chose to take out the blood vial 3-star in favor of the Stormbringer. And that way your crit you don't have as much wasted crit, because you're still sitting at 142% crit with this build. And while you may switch it back out depending on if you want the extra poison to resist from attacking Panthers, the whole purpose of Calvarax is what you're going to do with the spells. If you're adding up the raised dead spells, you're talking about 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, plus the 6 that you're going to be able to bring in. That's 17 rounds of skeletons that you are going to be able to drop on the battlefield while you have a level 60 ranger pummel them to death. This is how